So just to start making things look a little bit better, what we'll do is start filling in our walls. Now keep in mind, these are very simple. You just got to remember one thing, and that's that they only go above a spruce wood crossbeam like this. So even when you have these sections that stick out just a little bit, you don't need to place it underneath these. I think in the end it's going to look a lot better if you just keep it back, because it does add some depth. And you'll see on sections such as these, it should just line up flush. Oh, and my apologies, I did forget to tell you guys what wall material I was using. I will say that usually I do end up using either the white stained clay or the gray for most of my other buildings in the city, but I found that using the yellow color does tend to have a bit more of a regal look. Although keep in mind, if you are in default texture pack, it is going to be very odd looking. So use the yellow color at your own risk. And if you don't like the look of it, feel free to use one of the other kinds I mentioned. Also, before we continue, I know I told you guys to only use your wall material above these spruce wood crossbeams. However, I do think it looks best, at least for the front section and the back section, if you do something like what I've done here. So obviously on the back side, everything was pushed back a little bit, so I'll show you guys how to do that right here. First things first, go ahead and remove this whole wall on the bottom. What we'll do is just push this one block back. And to make it easier to add the rest of the walls in, all you'll need to do is place in a cross beam right here. And then from there, you can just continue this wall all the way up. And then once you're back down here on the bottom, like I said, just go ahead and add a row of these stone bricks, and then take your cobblestone, and once again, just fill these in. And if you feel like it, you could always place a window there in the middle. However, before you move on, you may want to add either just some grass to replace the other stone bricks on the bottom there, or you could add some other details such as placing in some stone brick stairs on the bottom like that. And then for each of the areas where the walls are pushed back a bit, at least the 3x3 sections, what you'll want to do is place in some spruce wood stairs on each of the corners. So you'll need to add those in here on the front, and then we'll also want to put a couple in on the back. For our next step, what you guys want to do is go around the whole build, adding in some more spruce wood stairs below each of the sticky-addy bits. Just exactly like what we did for the first floor, but it's just to support the roof on the second floor. And remember, if there's ever a spot where it looks like it's going to intervene with one of our roofs, just feel free to not place one there. While we've got our spruce wood stairs in hand, I'll go ahead and show you guys how to outline all of the roofs, and we will start on the ones right above the front door. To begin, go ahead and place one on this wall here, and then drag them all the way over until you've created one block overhang, and then above that place a spruce wood full block, then one more stair, and then another one to finish that off, and you can start going back down on the other side, just like this. And keep in mind for right here, you may want to consider spinning it like this, so it's facing forward, and then you can do either one more going down like that, or what I think looks even better, you can do one full block and then a stair. And the same thing's going to go for over on this side as well. Now before you do that, don't forget to add in your upside down stairs, just like this. After completing those, you will notice that there are two open spaces on the very tops. So we'll go ahead and make a design that's actually going to be carried out throughout every other roof section on the rest of the build. So to make this, what you'll do is place a spruce wood half slab right there in the open space, and then do a full block above it, stair on the front face of that, and then a spruce wood half slab on top of the stair to finish it off. Now keep in mind that this roof design that you see right here is actually going to be the exact same as the one we use all the way over here on the right side of the build. So make sure you replicate it on this side as well. And you're also going to want to remove those two sticky-addy bits on the top right and top left. When that's done, it should be looking just like what you see right here. And as I mentioned, that's pretty much the exact same thing as the two on the front. Now for our next design, we'll go ahead and begin on this big one, which is probably the most difficult out of all of them. So to start out with though, we'll begin right here and make sure this is overhang instead of directly on that. And before we actually start moving up, you may want to add one more section that goes down like this. I feel like in the end it does look quite a bit better, but if you just want to have it up a bit higher, feel free to do so. It's really up to whatever you think looks best. But once that's there, go ahead and continue it upwards, just like this. And once you get to this section, switch it up and place a full block there instead. And then above the full block, you can add a spruce wood stair. And then the next section will once again be another stair. And that should be it. You just need to go back down on the other side and add that same decoration we had on those. And just remember that the same design applies for the very back of the build as well. So once you've got this one down, you should be able to copy it right over to the other side. After you guys have got that one done, it's pretty self-explanatory in terms of connecting this roof to the other sections, but just in case some of you are still maybe not sure, I'll go ahead and show you guys that really quick. Next up, in order to begin this roof right here, what you'll need to do is remove that whole mess that we had going on and instead flip the last block so it's facing up. And to begin, you can start by placing a stair right there, then add in a full block with a stair above it, then add one more full block in with a stair above it on this section, go back down on the other side, and in the end, just don't forget to add in your upside down stairs and also the little design on the very top. And you should notice after somewhat completing it that you will need to leave these two blocks here open and also this section open as well. And like many of our other roofs that we've already completed on this build, this one also has a counterpart on the other side, so make sure you replicate it over there too. I think the only difference with this side is going to be that you'll need to bring it down one more block, and to do that it'll just be a upside down stair and then one upright. And you're also going to want to replicate this design on the middle section as well, since like I told you guys earlier, this is going to help break up the rest of the roof and give it a bit more detail. Once you guys have got that finished up, it should be looking like this. And keep in mind there was that section on this side that we'll need to pretty much do the same thing on as well. So we'll start by placing two stairs here. So a stair right there, one above it, and then for this section we'll switch it up and go full block, then a stair. And I'm going to suggest replacing this wood here with some spruce wood planks, and that should be all we need to do for now. Last but not least, we're going to start to add the trim to this section here, and once that's done, we can actually start to add in our roofing material. But to begin here, what we'll do is place a row of spruce wood stairs, and once again, bring this all the way out to the outside. And then from there, you can work your way up. Make sure you delete these stairs on the right side as you go though. And once up here, you'll actually have to do one more row that cuts across. And although this may look weird, I do think it adds quite a bit more detail in the end. And this roof here really is simple, but just in case some of you guys aren't sure how to do it, I will at least do one half of it. And once again, don't forget your upside down stairs, and the design we've done for all the others should fit right there in the middle. And connecting this here should be pretty easy. All you need to do is add a row of spruce wood stairs that goes all the way until that gap right there. And while we're on the topic of connecting things together, make sure you don't forget to connect this one on the front as well. And this one's also pretty easy. All you guys have to do is add a row of these spruce wood stairs, and I would recommend connecting these all the way over until you reach this wall. And now that we've got all of the trim done, I'm going to suggest adding in some blocks to connect each of the peaks of the roof together, just like this. And you'll want to do this all the way around the build, but what this is used for is to just add a place for us to add some decoration on the very top. And by decoration, I just mean adding in a few stairs, and wherever you hit the middle, say like this block, just go ahead and spin them around the other direction, and that should make it look a little bit better in the end and give it some variety. And then when you have areas like this, just go ahead and drag it over as far as possible. I think the middle is probably a good place to stop. And now that that's done, you can see I have all the tops of my roofs decorated, and it definitely gives it more of a rigid and detailed look in the end instead of just being super flat, which is definitely something I like about it. But anyways guys, that pretty much does it for the roof. All we really need to do now is add in our material, and then call it good. Now this is a step that obviously is very easy once you know how to do it, but for some people who are just learning how or are beginners, it can be sort of a tricky step, because as of now it does seem like a weird blank space and you may not know where to put everything. So I'll try and show you how to do one roof and then just time lapse the rest, and hopefully that will give you the best representation of how it's done. I think my main advice would just be to start from the spruce wood stairs and then just start dragging rows of your roofing material over from there. And in the end you might end up with a couple errors here and there, but it really shouldn't be anything that's not fixable. And luckily it is very easy to tell, where you could just change up a few blocks and have it looking back to normal. Alright guys, so it looks like that pretty much does it for the roof. I will admit there were a couple tricky sections here and there, but after messing around with a few things, everything looks like it's where it belongs. So for starters, in terms of adding all of our little details, there's actually quite a bit of stuff you can do with just stairs alone or a couple half slabs here and there. The first major thing is just adding a couple archways, and this can be done even right here on the front of the build. I think this place is actually quite a necessity, otherwise it looks like it's sort of unsupported. And you could even add a cobblestone one above the door if you decide to push it back like I've done. And there's also a couple more sections, such as this one here. You could do a little archway. And there's also quite a few areas where we still need to add in some windows. So really quick, how about we go through and find those. Now feel free to add more windows here and there, or even a couple on the first floor, but as for me, I think that should be enough. So as we flew around and found out where we wanted to add our windows, I'm sure a lot of you noticed how flat our build was still looking. So I'm going to show you 3 very simple details that can really help your build get some depth and dimension. The first one's probably the easiest, and that's just adding in some stairs wherever you have a roof and then a sticky outy bit below it. So you can see you can actually put in 2 right there. And then another detail would be to take out your spruce wood half slabs and do this wherever you have a 3 wide gap section, such as these 2 areas on the front. And all you got to do is place in a row of these with a row of fences above them. And then the last detail can also be used on any section that's 3 blocks wide, which is just a planter's box. And this can be made by placing in 2 spruce wood stairs on the outside with 1 spruce wood half slab in the middle, and then do a row of 3 grass blocks above that with some trapdoors on the outside, just to make it look like the dirt can still be held in. And don't forget some flowers or plants above that as well. Now I'm not going to show you exactly where to put all the others, just because I think it's best to mix it up, but in case some of you are just really not sure where you want them, I'll go ahead and show you a quick glimpse once I'm all done. So really quickly, like I mentioned, I'll go ahead and show you guys where I've added in all of mine. Over here on the left side, you can see we've got a flower pot that actually has a different design than our other one. I'm sure you noticed, instead of using trapdoors all the way around, we've actually got some stairs on the left and right. So I always think it's good to mix things up, so feel free to try something like that if you're into it. And on the back side here, we have quite the variety. We've got 1 flower pot and then 2 of the fence designs, trying to mix it up a bit. And then in the corner here, we've got something entirely new. This is actually a real thing that exists, but I honestly can't remember for the life of me what the hell it's called. I know they do usually have either some ivy or even grapevines draping down on them, so maybe this might be something you want to add. But now moving on to the other side, back here we've got 2 flower boxes. And like I said, I'm trying to mix things up a bit, so on one of them, we've actually got some vines draping all the way down. Next up, for this wall here and the one on the back that's pretty much the exact same, just to make it look a little bit better, I'd recommend doing some things such as placing 2 stairs on the bottom as well, just so it has a kind of circular design, and then up on the top you can maybe do 1 stair in the middle and then 2 half slabs on the outside, and that just gives it a little bit of extra detail in the end. And like I said, do something pretty similar on the back side as well. So as of now, the build is starting to look pretty good. I'd say it's almost finished, although the bottom is still looking very plain and boring. So one detail you could add in on pretty much every spot except the very front of the build, including this section here and this one where it gets a bit more diagonal and whatnot in a few places. But anyways, the design is pretty simple. All you do are stairs like this on each of the bottoms of the pillars, and then above them you can add in, where are they? The stone brick half slabs. Here we go. So just put these in above each one of the stairs, and then in the middles I'd recommend just doing 2 on either side like this, and that should be good. But like I said, feel free to carry that all the way around the rest of the build just to try and give it a lot more dimension. Alright guys, so that pretty much does it. If you see any areas on the build that still need some extra detail, feel free to keep adding stuff. I know I will in the future. And also make sure and add maybe some more flower pots on the front that are actually on the ground, or even just some sort of a nice pathway or maybe a fountain or well. But other than that, I'd say everything's just about done. Also, don't forget to remove any of the tower that's blocking a lot of the inside, because that will definitely help free up a lot of space. But overall, hopefully you guys did enjoy the build. If you want to see an interior show around, make sure and let me know. I'll probably do another one for this since it is more of a manor. I know I did show off the other one in a previous video, but like I said, that was converted into sort of a business. So that being said, if you want to go check something out right now, that video is available. But if you want something that's more along the lines of a livable area, I would be more than happy to make something like that in this one. But anyways, thanks for watching guys. Make sure and let me know what you thought down in the comments, or if you have any suggestions for future builds or improvements we could make to this one, feel free to let me know those as well. But once again guys, hopefully you did enjoy the build. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one.